All right, spawning here in the top left corner of the map in this final best of 3 we cast today, the My Insanity player spawning red. He is the Canadian Kane.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, it is My Insanity Stardust.
So, a couple fun things I just want to point out real quick. First off, Kane has played a lot of really interesting maps on Heavy Rain. I think he's actually played Heavy Rain in every series he's played today. I could be mistaken about that, but at least the last 3. The other thing, too, is he's actually just recently tweeted saying this was like the most fun he's had playing StarCraft 2 today. He's had a lot of really competitive matches, he's had a lot of insane matches, and a lot of really, let's be honest, non-standard matches. Okay, Zombie Grub's wasn't sure if I was supposed to. Anyways, one thing worth noting here, guys, Stardust is, of course, kind of nicknamed and joked around with the nickname Cheese Dust. And this isn't because he's necessarily a cheesy player, but he does opt for cheeses a lot, and he's really skilled at pulling them off. Kane, being a teammate, I'm sure, has, like, talked to Stardust multiple times about strategy. The coolest thing about the My Insanity house that I know from talking with Penguin a lot of the time is that they do talk. Like, they actually improve. It's not like they're just living in a house and they all play games together. And they watch things like streams together. They talk about what does and doesn't work. And Stardust has been helping Kane prepare this and that as far as strategy goes for other matches. So I imagine Kane's going to have some pretty good insight into what Stardust has in mind. Now, it's weird to consider Kane the underdog because he is such a strong player, but as far as tournament results go, Stardust has him outclassed by far in a large margin. So really curious to see just how he'll hold up against the teammates.
Well, I feel like, you know, obviously they both know each other, right? Like, that's what happens when you practice together, but I feel like knowing Stardust is more beneficial, you know? Because Kane can just rely on, like, you know, the solid play with, like, Swarm Host, for instance, like what we saw. But Stardust, I mean, his macro can be really, really good, no doubt. I mean, he was a Broodor player, he's got really good mechanics, but, you know, a lot of his wins in tournaments do come down from, like, mind games and cheeses.
Or insane probes on top of extractors, Jada. Actually, something here worth noting here for Stardust, though, and I only reference this not because I want to name drop, but Snoot had a very interesting series with him back in Zotac for our finals. It was a best-of-5 scenario, and the first 2 games went so heavily in the favor of the Zerg player Snoot. And what Snoot was doing was, he already knew that Stardust played a lot of Gateway All-Ins, that he played very Sentry-heavy, and what he did was end up doing, like, Banelings and Overlords and Bane raining on top of the Sentries, things like this that would catch Stardust off guard. Kane, again, knows the strategies of Stardust and may be able to perform, maybe not the same tricks, but interesting tricks to do it. One thing I would really like to see that I think would be really strong would be Roaches with Tunneling Claws. Stardust is a player who does rely heavily on his force fields as well as the gateway as far as his early aggression goes, and Tunneling Claws is not the most expensive investment in the world for just how good it makes Roaches.
That would be really interesting to see. It's always interesting to see. It's also still something a little bit different, so that adds a lot to it. Would it be really good on this map?
I kind of feel like it would. Like, force fields are already, like I said before, it's kind of like, you know, Derelict Watcher in this, in the aspect you have to have a lot of force fields in the first place to cover things down. And if all those force fields are completely negated by Roaches that burrow and just move underneath or away from them, I kind of feel like it's going to make it even more difficult to use.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking more of like the harass potential, not the straight up engagement, but you're right. Yeah, if it comes down to like harass, then I think like the base is just too tight. That, you know, detection wouldn't be the biggest deal in the world. Being out multitasked wouldn't be too terrible.
Stardust actually going to be opening with a Stargate here. I really like the spread Kane's got on the map right now. He literally has every exit covered as well as the bases from Stardust's base. So Stardust isn't going to be sending anything out that Kane doesn't see. Where he wasn't before. He had a Ling here. I don't know why he pulled it back. But still has pretty good coverage on the map so far. Did he see the Stargate? No clue about that so far.
If he just ducked in, you know, he could, but very rarely do you see the Ling duck in again. I mean, once the cannon's up and they're like, okay, I can't get past, then they just leave it there, and the Militia Corps ends up, you know.
Oh, the Overlord will see it.
Okay, so that's good. It's, I mean, it's not like a surprise that will end the game. Obviously, it's not like you don't scout 7 gateways, but it is nice to see it as soon as possible.
Okay, I really like the Phoenix opener here. This is something that we don't see too often anymore. I don't know, like, I feel like if you've got really good control of your Phoenixes like Stardust has, you could be really abusive with them. For Kane, seeing the Phoenixes come out, is nothing going to be too insane, right? Like, this is an opener that was the most common thing for the longest time. Like, it was that typical dance of Phoenixes into Hydras, into Colossus, into Vipers, blah, blah, blah. We've seen it before a million times. Well, actually, the Overlord here is going to be the first thing that dies. Don't want to miss this.
First Blood.
But the thing is, Phoenixes are not exactly easy to deal with, even if you know about this sort of strategy. And the one thing Kane's going to have to really look for is how Stardust chooses to use them. So if you go for drone harass, and you know there's no like gateway follow-up, that it's not going to be a huge all-in that follows through, but if you end up just like saving the Phoenixes for energy, meandering around the map, you got to be a little bit paranoid of that follow-up attack. Now what is coming out is the Robo facility, and we're probably going to have sentries starting to get produced here as well, because let's be honest, it's kind of like the the fallback strategy, like, oh, whatever I opened with didn't cause damage, let's go Sentry Immortal.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's not only for the like offense, it's not like a counter or a follow-up all-in, it's also just what you really need to defend. Kane is going to be going for roaches again. In fact, I think every single game we've seen versus Protoss, he's gotten that roach horn. You know, how much he used it is a different question. Also getting an Evo Chamber. This Queen's going to be the first, you know, non-Overlord to go ahead and die. The Spore Crawlers cover most of everything else.
Really fast Robo Bait coming down here too, so Stardust is definitely looking to get Colossus out quickly, which is a bit... not a bad choice, but odd to see. This is something you usually do versus Terran. You don't really rush this versus Protoss. I mean, versus Arc. I mean, you will get them, of course, but usually expect to see the Immortals more so than the Colossus.
Yeah, that is really fast. He's adding on 3 more gateways. I think to a total of just 4. Yeah, there's just the additional one. So it looks like maybe a Colossus all in, but you know, with that Immortal and the Void Ray, definitely not. Actually, it's going to be an interesting composition. He could be just trying to, you know, build up a very high-tech, scary army. But the thing about those armies is that they're only powerful, like, when there's more than just a few of each, right? Like, if there's only 1 Colossus, 2 Void Rays, and a couple of Sentries, not too scary, but 5 minutes later, and suddenly it's unbeatable.
That's called the grab bag effect. Just go for a little bit of everything.
Yeah, there you go.
Nexus might need to be canceled. There's a hell of a lot of lings here, and the force field on this, well, actually, the Sentry's going to get picked off there. Wow. It's still going to complete, though. With the Immortal coming in, honestly, he actually can't really hold this off too easily. Especially the Mothership Core is not being utilized a little more on top of this, though. Void Ray's going to be a little bit late to the party, and wow, Kane tears us all down with lings.
Yep. That was a pretty good trade, and loses 2 roaches and some lings. Not a big deal whatsoever. Again, with a fairly fast infestation pit. Now, last time we saw it was fungals. It was the pathogen glands first, and then he went into swarm hosts. I'm guessing he's not going to think...
No,
it's probably carriers though.
It's well, I mean, when you see the Phoenixes, you're expecting the Colossus follow up eventually, right? So, I think he's probably gonna just be opening the Swarm Host to keep those back.
Yeah, you get that Spire for those Corruptors as well. Roaches are popping out right now. He's at 64 drones, so pretty good for 3 bases. We'll get that 4th up pretty soon. Has the Queens out on the map again.
Yeah, actively chasing around, trying to catch a couple more of these Phoenixes. While he might not be opting to go to Swarm Host, so this is another thing, like I was kind of mentioning Kane's Twitter earlier, and he was talking about, like, I see why Stefano does this, Swarm Hosts are, like, really fun, blah, 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 blah. So maybe might not open with them, but we'll probably incorporate them eventually, having comfortable time using them for sure. But that's a lot of roaches, that's a lot of lings, and quite frankly, the low count of Void Rays and Immortals, this is what you were talking about, the sort of grab bag effect where you've got a little bit of everything. It's going to be really hard to fully utilize this in a really good engagement.
Yeah. Well, Stardust always has that recall, so you can do pokes like this. Back in Wings Liberty, if you walked out and you you lost your army, it was just, well, whoops, sorry, Protoss, you kind of lose. So definitely need that recall there. Well, maybe a counterattack. Kane, no, decides not to. And it looks like he's going to try and defend at home. Does he even know what's coming? He's got to. Well, maybe not. Everything's pulling away. There we go, now he knows. Now he has to defend. Should have to cancel the 4th, though.
He's going to need to recall Stardust. I mean, he let too many lings through here. Huh. What's really scary is what 7 Corrupt is about to pop to. Almost loses that sentry. I'm surprised he hasn't lost more sentries. Kane's lings normally are really good at hunting these down. Meanwhile, another attack going over here towards the 3rd base. Queen gets killed immediately upon inject, and looks like some drones are going to be getting here as well.
I thought he'd get a cancel on that 4th. Maybe he still will. Oh, hey, Colossus, what are you doing?
Well, it's actually not an immediate danger. It's just Queens for now, but still, yeah, that could have been a very costly loss. How many workers died here? 8 throughout that attack. Not too shabby. Enduring Locust is on the way, but of course not able to invest in the Swarm Host just yet, as they're quite expensive.
Supply is looking pretty good for Kane, but Stardust is playing a little more passive, so he's going to be in that 4th base. As long as he can defend it, he can take his, you know, good old time getting up to max. 2 more Stargates are also on the way, as well as a lot of other tech, pretty much all the tech that Protoss can get right now. So he's going to have a lot of options for him, although he's probably just going to go heavily into Void Rays.
Getting a nice scout off with the Phoenixes too. So one thing for Stardust he's got going for him is with this earlier Colossus count, he's going to actually have that like 5 or 6 that you need early on to keep the Locust Waves back. He's also investing in double Stargates behind this, so a total of 3. Void Rays are a huge part of this composition.
Yeah. Well, Phoenix is still able to harass a little bit, although with Speed Overlords it's a lot harder. Well, finally Swarm Hosts are popping out. Only 5 for now, but it's because he's maxed. He'll be one of the trade some of those roaches. Although, you know, there are a lot of cases where Zerg trades, but not effectively with roaches. They just kind of give them away, and that's exactly what you don't want to do because the counterattack would be just way too strong. So he's going to want to give them away in, you know, small little spurts, you know, and at least somewhat cost-effectively.
This is a really quick fleet beacon. I'm thinking this is... Do you think he's going to go for the mothership this early? Because there's like... typically you don't go Tempest in this composition. I mean, you can, but they're not the most effective.
He might be afraid of like a Meadows transition, so he's gonna have it and not use it.
Possibly,
I don't know.
That's
a good point though. Mothership Core, especially over in Korea, like over in Pro League, every single PvZ that goes on for longer than like 25 minutes, they have incorporated the Mothership. And of course, Stardust still has, you know, his roots back in Korea. He must be talking to some of them. Maybe he's thinking along the same thing.
It's not just Korea, like Mana does it too in a lot of Europeans. And the thing is, like the Mothership, it's still in essence kind of a garbage unit for its cost. And what's really dumb is, of course, the Mothership Core can't be chrono boosted to increase the rate at which it transforms, but it brings a lot of damage with it. And that cloaking field can be really cool too.
Yeah.
But using it for now, just having it for now, not using it right away. Hive is on the way for Kane, so realizing, okay, I've got some breathing room, I might as well just advance my tech.
Oh, Tempest. I don't know why, but I guess I was stuck on Carriers, forgot entirely about Tempest, so...
Well, this is what I said, like, I didn't think we see Tempest in this composition, because... Like, the thing Tempests are best at, like, their #1 job in StarCraft 2 is taking out things like Brood Lords and the, you know, the massive units, but beyond that, because they have such a low cooldown, like, or such, like, a long cooldown, I should say, like, their damage, their DPS isn't the greatest. They're good at forcing fights out slowly, but that's kind of the emphasis, slowly. I don't think enough recalled with this Mothership Core. Okay, never mind. More than enough recalled. I didn't see the Void Rays. It just looked like he had recalled 2 Colossus for a second. But that'll push Kane's army back for the time being. Roaches, of course, not going to stand too well against this.
I think Stardust, he saw the... He didn't see the Hive, but he's getting Tempests blindly, pretty much. I mean, they're useful in all situations with a max Protoss army, but they're actually going to be super useful now because Kane is looking to go into, apparently, Broodlords.
Yeah, so that, of course, guys, if you don't know, Tempest, they only get their massive bonus damage versus, okay, their massive bonus damage versus massive. That's what I was accidentally trying not to say, but I think, was it 3 of them one-shots of Broodlord, if I'm not mistaken?
That sounds right. It's pretty brutal. These roaches also pretty brutal to the probe line.
Yeah. They kill quite a few workers, but not enough to really dissuade Stardust. He is, of course, on 4 bases. Warping here towards the main wolf finds there's some Spinecrawlers and Corruptors waiting for him, so Warp Prism's gonna try and get out. Wow, I can't believe that actually escapes.
Probably wasn't looking. Yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, 85
that will come
damage.
in later.
85 damage a shot versus massive units, guys. That is Broodlord Death Machine right there.
That's what they were made for. They kind of... They might have over-nerfed Broodlords just with everything else they gave everyone else.
I'm a little bit worried about him leaving them exposed like that. That was kind of like a free pick-off if available, but Phoenix is coming towards to harass some of this 3rd base too, so Stardust is being very active in multiple locations of the map right now. Kane has just got to have his attention just absolutely split everywhere right now. Huge attack here towards the 3rd. Phoenix is lifting off units, gets an Infestor through the air. Won't be able to kill it though because 2 units are Graviton beaming at the same time. But Warp Prism's been reloaded, going towards the main once again. It's just Spinecrawlers for defense. I mean, the Zealots are not that well upgraded, but they do have level 3 weapon upgrades, so shredding the Spinecrawlers, not at all out of the question.
Plus, Dark Shrine has finished, so we can warp in DTs, and they'll be very, very effective. Just warping in Zealots for now. Vipers are also on the way, and the Corruptors say, oh, I thought I killed you. I'm going to kill you now.
Nice transfuse.
The Zealots don't do too much.
Kane actually can hold this for now with a transfuse. Doesn't lose a single Spinecrawler. Really nice defense. So many locusts, though. Ground units are just going to be out of the question here for pushing it without the Colossus nearby.
Yeah. You know, he didn't really use the Stargates for that much. I mean, his air army is surprisingly small. Usually they kind of give up and they go for nothing but air units and maybe some, 4 Colossus, but still a surprising number of gateway units plus a spare Immortal, because why not? Charge just finished up. Storm is also on the way. It's going to be very effective. He's going to want High Templars just in general to feed back the Vipers and the Infestors. I don't see any in his composition right now.
Well, the Colossus and the Void Ray certainly have the DPS to deal with these Locusts as they come forward. A couple of Force Fields do go down to be precautionary, but is Stardust really taking this base in the top right?
Bold. That is so bold. Someone tell him that's not his base.
That's almost manners how bold that is, but I guess if he's got control of this with the Colossus, he can get away with it. We'll see how long this lasts, though. The pylon's going to be really, really important for reinforcements, but yeah, I'm surprised he's not using the Observer to clean up more of the creep. There we go. Has Kane seen this? Kane must have seen this. Yeah, he's seen this base coming down.
He lost all of his Blink Stalkers right there to the Locusts. A little,
Ooh. That's actually really dangerous, because now the Corruptors can move in. Abducts are going to go off.
Was sniped.
The Locust waves are already hard enough to deal with, but what's scary is without the Tempest and without enough Void Rays, the Corruptors are really scary. Of course, the Broodlords are out, but the Tempests are nowhere to be seen. Huge warp in here towards the main. Wow, how many gateways is this? Stardust has 13 gateways! Trying to kill the Greater Spire. Will he get it before weapons complete? Looks like he will. That was an insane warp in. It gets behind the Spinecrawlers too. Broodling's going to help clean this up. Unfortunately, can no longer do too much more than what he's got, but Stardust is intent on taking this base. He's even putting some cannons down. What the hell? Zealots still running past with such an amount of Zealots. Like, this is an insane amount. Like, cleaning this up is not going to be the easiest thing to do. Trying to outrun the Locusts, trying to outrun the Broodlings.
Well, it didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, it took down some spine crawlers, and
it got the Greater Spire. Yeah, exactly, and it killed the weapon upgrades on it too before +1 finish. So, I think that was a worthwhile investment.
There was a lot of Zealots. I was just expecting him to do something else along with it, and instead he just had to back off because the armor is supposed to be scary.
Was there no detection there? He threw out a fungal to kill the Dark Templar, but like that Dark Templar, he killed a couple. Oh, there's the Overseer. Here we go. Fungal's coming down though. Stardust realizing why you shouldn't take your opponent's base now.
Maybe a little bit. Another Warp Prism is on the way. We're going to go ahead and get into that main again. With so many, Zealot Warp-ins, I mean, it's just there's not enough Spine Crawlers to really take care of that. Still can't really push into Kane's army though.
Yeah, I mean, the Colossus is going to keep the Locusts at bay, but that's all they're really going to be able to do. There's no way they really get too much closer, and there's so many Corruptors that they'll die very quickly if they overextend themselves here. A couple of Storms going to keep this wave back for now, force Kane to reposition. Meanwhile, constant attacks going over here to the left, not giving Kane any room to breathe. We'll be able to kill a lot of these Spine Crawlers, trying to desperately keep them alive with some transfuses, though. Kane is operating off of a cooldown. Looks like these Zealots will be taken out for now, but a second Warp-in wave is already on the way. Templar are, of course, moving forward, trying to get those feedbacks off if at all possible. Swarmos on Burrow. Giving a lot away here for free. That's actually really bad. He's going to lose almost all of his Swarm hosts. Pushing power for Stardust now completely in his favor. Broodlords and, well, the Corruptors are going to try and deal with the nice Fungal. Actually going to keep the Blink Stalkers from moving. Huge abducts went off, but what?
So many.
I don't know. Pulling so many forward, he doesn't have the DPS to deal with them all at once. They will eventually die, but that's not like... I don't know, I feel like that was kind of unnecessary.
23 Swarm hosts are on the way to fill this gap now for Kane.
Stardust?
His entire third base was sacked. His fourth base is gone. That is all the units that he's going to get for quite a while. The thing is with Swarm hosts, if they survive, then, they're free units. So, I mean, as long as they don't die, then he can definitely get that economy back up.
Yeah. Spire goes down once again. I mean, for Stardust, he just traded out his entire army to kill Kane's economy. I think it was worthwhile, but the problem is, Kane is not in a position where he can really counterattack.
Yeah, and Stardust is now going up to 5 bases as well. DT's forcing on a lot of Fungals, and in fact dodging most of the Fungals. Finally will go down as the Overseer finishes.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this. Both players on that really low, dangerous economy sort of situation. We've seen this happen on Heavy Rain plenty of times. It's worth noting the hatchery did live here at the 4th base, so there are mineral patches. Kane can start mining again, but Stardust does have 70 probes to the 24 drones of Kane.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's really, really low. There's enough to saturate one base and one base only, so... And he has so much gas, no minerals.
I kind of want Stardust to go back in and like execute the saturate. It's got no health, there's no defense here. Even the spore crawlers are gonna go down.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, just sniped it. Stardust, you know, he could probably try and push in again, but he wants to wait to have a, you know, I guess Colossus and Tempest, because right now he's drop rating off of only, you know,
Kane's army. Like Kane's army's really nice for a head-on engagement, but with the Tempest coming out once again, it might seem like a bit of an odd investment, but it's actually going to be great at just range poking down, like slowly but surely, right? Like that's going to be the mentality going into it.
Yeah. Huh? Kane could still come back, just got to keep on to the bases that he can get. It's just going to be so hard. He's having difficulty getting a second one.
Gets an overseer there. I love the Templar inside this Warp Prism, by the way, because it's always so dangerous to have your Templar just walking around. It's so easy to pick them off, but carrying them around inside the Warp Prism is kind of cool. We'll get some more Overlords here. Stardust is a little bit relentless. This is your teammate you're fighting, man. Show some compassion.
No compassion.
No, actually, that's a good point. It is about winning, and you want to be the best. Like, as much as he might love Kane, you know, Stardust can't give him easy breaks. And Kane, I don't think he'd want them, to be honest. Like, he would want Stardust to come at him full force and force him to play better. Like, that's what I really like. Players like Kane, I've got a lot of respect for, because like whether you've been BM'd by them or not, it doesn't really matter. The reality is they're good players and they're striving to improve, which is kind of lacking for a lot of the StarCraft community. A lot of players get stale in their ways and stubborn about improving or changing, but Kane is a player who, in this sort of scenario, he might be losing, he might not be entirely happy about this, but he knows that he's learning from it.
What did you learn this game?
You learn that Stardust is a real mean guy who likes 13 warpins at a time.
Apparently.
I mean,
like, Templars somehow got here. Oh, nice storm.
Beautiful storm on an already low drone economy. Now 17 workers. That storm was actually fantastic. Stardust does have this new base up and running, and again, 72 probes in total. He's got a lot of economy still coming in for him. He's going to max out well before before Kane ever does again.
On Vegetarians, take out that Archon.
Woo!
Why not? Really, the only thing you got that's like semi-mobile, like the swarm was going up there. Not gonna happen. Stardust just being relentless with these war prisms. This one goes down.
That had 3 high.
So fast.
That had 3 full energy Templar in it too.
Oh well, that's unfortunate, but he can take those.
Yeah, he can take
those
the losses.
trades.
That's what he's afforded by with this extra base. For Kane, like I think he knows too, like he can't afford to just sit back, but he knows the second he moves out, Stardust will pounce. I kind of wish he'd take like maybe not all of his storm hosts, but even just like 3 or 4 and send them to like start harassing this base or something. Does he even know about it? No, he doesn't even know about this lower left base. Oh god.
Duh.
He's got to have an idea though. Like I mean, like what other reason would Stardust be just sitting back for, right? Like the army devastation wasn't that bad.
I mean, who's going to be the person that attacks? You know, neither player really wants to, because Kane still has a really good army, but Stardust
that fungal
has the better economy. Like, he wants to be able to end this game.
Ooh, just barely misses that blink. Looks like a Templar going to go down for free over here as well. Still have a bit of poking around as he tries to get these warp in / feedback / Templar down. Stardust is slowly cleaning up the creep. It's really getting him more and more control over this game. I mean, like, this is only game number 1 in the best of 3, guys, but Kane is looking to be in some real dire straits. Like, you cannot play one base off of this. And he's not able to expand his problem. He's trying to. Like, he's making the right moves. He's just not able to do it.
Yeah. Still not able to get maxed either. So he's not really, you know, accumulating that big of a bank just off of that one base. You know, trading here and there is fine for Stardust, but Kane really wants to be able to, you know, actually remax with something or get anything else. Mothership is on the way, by the way, so that Fleet Beacon can be used more for just the Tempests.
So this is actually going to be really great. Kane's in a situation where he doesn't have a lot of overseers, or the economy to make like 50 of them, right? So as long as he snipes off one, then the mothership's the only thing that's going to be the target for all these corruptors initially, which gives the Colossus a little more breathing room. Also, let's not forget the mothership itself has a lot of damage associated with it. Yeah. But this is so many Tempests. Like, I feel like this is Stardust almost trolling at this point. Like, I didn't even see this because we were watching production tab, but it's 18 Tempests, guys. They might not do bonus damage versus Corruptors, but this is enough to start one-shotting Corruptors even. Well, actually, maybe. Hang on. 39 damage? How much health does a Corruptor have? Yeah, I should be able to do that with 18. No problem.
Yeah, just, you know. I mean...
He'll be able to eventually snipe the swarm hosts. I guess? I don't know. It's weird. You know,
there was not even here.
There was something Desert said to me a long time ago on Twitter where I had talked about using Tempest versus Swarm hosts, and he said, if you've never seen a Korean do it, don't talk about it. Well, we're seeing it happen. Lots of feedback's going to go down on top of the Vipers, make sure that not a lot of abducts will follow through. Storm's going to keep the Corruptors back, but the range on these Tempests is just insane. The Corruptors are going to try and get involved. We got a lot of Stalkers Blink Stalkers warping in underneath this, but as we see, wow. It's like a punch and a half, just slowly but surely chipping away at this. And that massive range is really just going to allow him to do this for free.
As cool as a Tempest attack looks, you'd think it'd do more damage, though, honestly. Like, it does damage, obviously, but...
Did you see the Carbots finale thing?
Yeah, it's like exactly like the Carbots, and I just feel like, you know, that Carbot should have ended with a point defense drone stopping it.
You can't one-shot a Marine, and like, it's such a big ball of energy, this massive attack coming your way. Where's the mothership, by the way? Did it die? No, it's still just chilling over here at the base, so it never got involved with the army.
I'd have forgotten about it. Just like chilling over there, hiding the base, I suppose.
Well, the one thing the Tempest can't do is really keep the Locusts at bay. They can't kill snipe the Infestors like nobody's business, though. Holy crap. Is there an Overseer still? Where is the Overseer? Okay, it's with the army. Snipes off the Observer, so no longer free detection here for Stardust. Brings another couple of Observers to the front line, but again, if you would just bring... Man, these are so loud, too. That's what's really pissing me off. I can't look at them. I'm sorry, guys. I can't even hear myself think. But if you brought the Mothership Core to... sorry, not the Mothership Core, but the Mothership to the front lines, I mean, really could just, I feel, definitively start wrecking this game. The Mothership, of course, if you guys do not know, has the same abilities, just no longer photon overcharge capabilities.
I just noticed, but the upgrades are absolutely terrible for Kane. Like, his army's good, but the upgrades suck.
This is insane. I have to stay, like, double zoomed out just to, like, watch the Tempest do anything. Beautiful fungal goes off, but it's not catching everything by any means. And Stardust has this crazy bank behind this where, like, let's be honest, he could warp in, like, 200 Zealots, no problem.
Yeah. Out of these features is scary. He's getting those Infestors down. I mean, anything that Kane loses, it's lost forever, really. I mean, his gas is just not there. His mineral bank's sitting up there, but what is he going to do? Like, flood with Lings? Like, how much is that going to help?
Ironically, Lings would actually be really good here because Tempests have enough trouble, like, attacking fast enough to deal with the Lings. There's two Colossus. He could literally run Lings on top of this.
He has I don't know. No, he is actually making Lings as I say it because that's something it can make. And I guess he can try and counterattack, but attacking the army's not going to do anything.
Obviously, the Lings aren't like your go-to. You want to make these strategy, but I'm saying with the resources he has available to him, combined with the army composition of Stardust, I really don't think the Lings are that terrible of an idea.
Well, we're going to see because he made them. I don't know where they went to, but they're here.
I don't think he's going to win the game. Guys, I think Kane's lost this, but don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, he's making some cool choices. Actually, with the Archons going down, especially to the Locust, it opens up even more opportunities, but...
oh, and they're the most... They don't even have upgrades. Like, plus one Carapace Lings. So scary.
Do they at least have metabolic boost? They do.
Yes, okay. He does.
Okay, well, Kane is... What's the last game versus Titan? Like 42 minutes on this map? Like, he's liking his long games, but... Unfortunately, again, Stardust has that 8k mineral bank. Snipes off more Infestors, picking off, just drilling away. Kane's economy here in the top right base is what's barely keeping him in this game, but if he loses this, then he's just screwed.
Oh, he's losing so many swarm hosts, jeez.
Blink Stalkers really proven to be the most effective way to deal with this if you can get right on top of them. Ling's gonna try and engage. No, they disengage right away. Corruptor's tentative. A couple of abducts will go off. The Overseer's actually fallen now. And Stardust, I'm still mad that he made the mothership core. Or sorry, the mothership. But more so that he chose not to use it at all.
I really feel like he forgot about it. Apparently, he doesn't have an an observer with his army, so he can't kill the rest of the swarm host. That's what's keeping Kane in this game right now. But all of his corruptors are going to go down. Actually,
Good
just
game.
GG's.
Oh, jeez. Well, Kane will go down in game number 1, but it's a best of 3, and Stardust takes the lead 1-0.